Hello friends, welcome back. My name is Chetan Surar and today we are going to discuss what are the props in React. Okay. So we in React we pass the data from one component to other component. We how we can pass the data from one component to another component, and we can set the dynamically props to the components. Whatever the data inside the component we have, that we can make as dynamic. So as we discussed last time, that components have a basic unit and that is a sub contains some JSX code, which is similar to HTML. And in that, if you want to pass some dynamic value, which can be like every product can have different names and different images and pricing also different pricing. So how we can make this the things are different, how we can pass that things dynamically, and how we can make the props means how we can make the validation on the props, how we can pass the default values to the props. All those things we are going to discuss today. Also, we are going to check, like, see how the node of the component can be passed to the other component. Those things we are going to discuss today. So, without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay. So now I'm back to my computer screen and I'm in the Visual Studio Code. So last time in the last video, we have created a project where we have created two components basically, product component and product details component. So in product component is a class based component and product details was a functional component. So today we are going to see like how we can pass the data from uh, pass data to component and how we can access this properties or data in class based component and functional component, because there is a different way of accessing this values into both of these components. So let's say I want to make this image dynamic. Okay, so this URL which I'm showing over here, this I want to make it dynamic because both the components have same URL and this is a static data. I want to make it as a dynamic. So what I'll do, I'll just I'll just copy this URL from here and I'll just pass it over here. Okay, so here I'll name it as image equals to, in the double quotes, I'll just pass this URL. Okay. Now, as I have passed this over here, okay, so I can access this, whatever the props I have passed. Okay, I can name it anything. I can name it image. I can name something else. Maybe I can name it ABC, TF. Okay, anything I can name over here. So so whatever the attributes or properties I've added over here, those can be accessed in the component. In the class-based component, we access it like this. Okay, so you to access any variable value in the JSX code, what we have to do, we have to use the curly braces. So I have used the curly braces, and here I'll say this dot prop, as this is a class-based component. So this refers to the current object, and this dot props comes as a default field in that, and then the image. Okay, here I've mentioned as image. Okay, here I'll mention as image. So here img, this is something which I've passed from here. Okay, now if you check whether our application works fine or not, it's working fine. If you see the second product which we have shown over here does not loading the image because we have not passed the image for the second component. Okay, so now what we are going to do, let's search for some other image. Okay, let's maybe take this one. We'll copy the link address and here I'll pass as image. Just take it at the bottom. Okay, now we can see the change over here. Okay, What happened? Something is missing, I think. Okay, now it works. Okay, so that's how two images are created over here. Okay, both of them have the dynamic values. Now, let's make other parts also dynamic. So I'll take this alt. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just add alt text. I'll say product. The same way, this dot props dot alt text, alt text. Now, if you just see in the browser now, it's passed as product, and here it hopefully not available because we have not passed here. Okay, now it's available for both. So next we will see how we can change the functional components. Okay, and how we can make these values as dynamic. So we need title, description, and price. So let's pass those. So here the product details is used under product component and product component is used from app component. Okay, so we have to pass those values to, okay, from product, every product have different price. So from app component, I'll pass the props value to the product component. Let's say here I'll first pass as title. Title will be t-shirt, let's say. Okay, multicolor t-shirt maybe. And then I have description that will be fancy t-shirt. Okay, here same. Let's just one more thing. Price is remaining. Price equals to, so as I'm passing number, so I need to pass it like this in the curly braces. We can also pass the strings also in the curly braces. Okay, but we can pass it through curly braces and without also. But here, like now, for to pass numbers, we need to actually have the curly braces over here. Price 400. Here I'll say I'll just copy these things and I'll paste it over here. Here I'll say RRR t-shirt. That's what the t-shirt is written. Fancy t-shirt description, I will keep that as it is. And pricing, I will say 500 maybe. Okay. So if we just refresh over here, nothing is changed because we have not passed it to the product details. So here, what we'll say title equals to this dot props dot title. Description equals to this dot props dot description. Let's just take it down. And price will be this dot prop dot price. Okay. So now we have passed like this. So how we can access it into the functional components. So in the class-based component, we have access to this dot props and then the property name. Okay. Now in the functional components, all these values comes as an object to the, means it comes as a parameter to the functional component. So we can, there are multiple ways. You can either take it like this. So will take it as a input parameters, and here we can make title, then description, and then price. So what I've done in the round brackets, I have said in the curly braces, as this is an object, we have taken curly braces and title, description, price. So likewise, I can do again. We show the variable value into the JSX. We need to use curly braces. So here I'll say title. Here I'll say description and price. Okay. Now see. Okay, the values are changed. If you see price is 500, here 400, RRR t-shirt, multicolor t-shirt, description fancy t-shirt. Okay, so now this is one way of doing the accessing the properties. There is one more way. We can either use the props like this. We can name it as a props, and on the next line, I can destructure it, destructure the my props, title, comma, description, comma, price, and here I'll say props. So this is also one way possible, and that is also I can access through the props also. Like if you see exchange, okay, now also I can access it through the props dot title. Okay, so so these are the multiple ways to show the uh, props. Okay, to access the props, we can remove this from here. Now, the in the case of object, the sequence doesn't matter in the restructuring. Okay, so this way we can access. There are multiple ways, so we can access in this way. And now if you see over here, we have passed every property line by line. What if there are so many properties, maybe 10 to 15 properties, and if you, in that case, if you want to copy all the properties from parent to child, do we need to pass it manually? There is one more way to do that. So how we can do that? We can do that using the spread operators. Spread operator. So what I will do here, I'll use the curly braces and I'll say three dots. I'll say three this dot props. So this way also it will work. If you just refresh the page, it's still working. So this is one way of using the spread operator. So we can pass all the props, and in that case, image and alt text will be also accessible. Now, all these props are passed to the components. Okay. Now we will see how we can pass the default values to the props. If there might be a case that user might have not passed, or the developer might have not passed the props value. So in that case, what the default value we should take, that we can also mention over here. So how we can do that? Let's say. So let's see here. Alt text maybe I will not provide. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll say the component name product dot default prop equal to object. So curly braces. Here I'll say alt text colon, let's say product. Okay. So now I'll just remove this from both of these components, and we'll see whether that works or not. If we just now inspect it, and we can see the alt text. Okay, here the alt product, and same works for the other one also. Okay. Now what we'll do, we'll again, like, this is one thing. Again, we can have the props for default props valid for other attributes also, other properties also. We can have those things. Now, like for the title, I will say if I don't pass the title, I'll say t-shirt, and here if I have not passed the title for one component, so what will be the value? So for that, Here you can say default value is taken t-shirt. Okay, so this is one way. And now let's say if you want to make the validation on the properties, so how we can do that? Maybe let's say here I have the price as 400, and maybe if I'll not pass the price as 400, I will just maybe say test, and here the test is printed. But price should be ideally in the number. Okay, because if might we are processing that into the component. So how we can validate that this price should be always be in the number? For that, we need to say product component name dot prop types equals to object, and I will say price colon. Uh, for that, we need to import one package, install one package. So what I do is in the console go and say npm i prop types and just install it. Okay, so now it's there. I'll just run the application again, and I will say here prop type dot, the P and T is capital over here, and up in the above it's camel case. So here I'll say dot number. Okay, it's saying error, semicolon should not be there, and we need to just import this from the prop types. So import prop types from prop types, semicolon. So now there is no error. Okay, now if you go into the here, if you just open the console, it's giving an error that invalid prop price of type string supplied to product expected number. That means number is expected to the price property, and we are passing the string value, so it's giving an error. We should actually change it. So that's how we are changing it. Now if you'll just refresh the page, it's still working fine. Now it's working fine. So that's how we can make the validation to the props. Now let's see. Let's say you want to have any child, as this was a self-closing component. There may be a case that you need to have a child component into that. So maybe you'll nest it over here and you write something like that. Okay, here I'll say maybe I'll pass the title as over here, multicolor t-shirt. You can maybe pass any other component also into this, maybe multiple components also as a child to this particular component. Okay, so how we can do that, and how we can access that over here. So that also we'll see. Let's say I'm passing multicolor t-shirt, and I'll just remove this prop from here, and I'll just say, so instead of, we'll just comment it out, and I'll say here instead of this dot prop dot title, I'll say children. So children is something which is always like, if there is a means it's not a self-closing component, then whatever we have passed between the opening and closing bracket, component tags. So whatever, if it's a simple text, maybe a multiple components or any other component, single component, multiple components, whatever we pass, that will be accessed as a children prompt. Okay, this is a reserved for, and using this we can like access the children element of the component. So let's see whether that works or not. Yeah, it's multicolor t-shirt. Maybe let's just change it. Maybe fancy t-shirt. I'll say three color t-shirt. Okay. Now you can see we can access this over here. You can also add component also over here, so that if you, let's say you are creating a dialog component, and in that you want to add the nested components, so those nested components can be accessed to the children prop over here. So yeah, so what we have seen, how we can pass the default values, how we can make the validation to the props, and how we can access the child element or child component in the proper components. So that we have. Sure. If you have liked my video, please hit the like button, share this video with others, and click on the subscribe. I'll be sharing all the more and more videos on the React, how we can develop the React application, and moreover other features also we are going to work on the real applications, how we can develop that application, how we can use the other all the things which we have, how we can use the props and all these things. So I'll just keep posting the videos, and please subscribe so that you will get the notification for that. Thank you.